What is up, guys? It's yours truly, Danny Explosion, back here today. And today is a return of a series I really need to get back to. This is the return of the Dying Fetus Discography review, part 6. And this will be about their Dying Fetus' 6th studio album, Descend Into Depravity. And if you're wondering what we're listening to in the background, that is the Misfits' Walk Among Us. One word, buddy, classic. Really awesome shit. Anyway, let's get to the album itself, shall we? Just a little info. This is their 6th studio album, like I just said. They released this album September 15th, 2009 through Relapse Records. There's a total of 8 tracks on here, and the total length of it is about 33 minutes and 45 seconds. This is their first album with their drummer, which is currently the drummer right now for Dying Fetus, Trey Williams. And it also begins probably the strongest lineup, in my opinion, for Dying Fetus, which includes John Gallagher, guitar and vocals, Sean Beasley, who does bass and also vocals, and like I said, Trey Williams on drums. What can I say about this album? It was a major turning point for one of the most notorious bands in death metal. It showed them how much they've matured since War of Attrition back in 2007 when they released that. And this album just smashes your fucking body to a pulp. This album has 8 well thought out, well planned, and completely devastating tracks that will just pummel you right to the fucking ground. And I'm about to go track for track right here. This album opens up with probably one of the most well-known Dying Fetus tracks and a gem in the modern death metal world, Your Treachery Will Die With You. As soon as this ripping motherfucker hits your stereo, it'll show you how much they've matured over the small course of only 2 years. This had so much aka technicality and brutality, and it's just they just made it so goddamn catchy, and just the slams they added into all these tracks were just incredible. And Your Treasure Will Die With You, that song really needs no introduction. It's a fucking classic no matter what. Wicked slams, wicked guitar playing, fucking blast mania drumming, and crushing bass work. 5 out of 5 for me. That one deserves a pentagram. The next track after that is Shepherd's Commandment. That is a very awesome song too, with the groovy opening riff, and that song was just chock full of slams, breakdowns, spiced up with some wicked, sweet arpeggio motherfucking breaks and riffs, and that gets a 4 3/4 out of 5. The next track, Hopeless Insurrection. That track is a total blast fest. That song probably has the most technical drum work, more technical than Your Treachery Will Die With You, in my opinion. I don't know, I'm not a drummer, so. But in my opinion, that drum work was just so fucking wow. Just wow, Trey, man, you really know your way behind that drum throw, man. And this track kind of had like more dark and heavy slams. I found this track to be more technical on this disc. Awesome track, 4 out of 5. Next track, Conceived Into Enslavement. Grooves, slams, and fucking wicked technicality up the ass. All I gotta say. Mind-blowing track, 5 out of 5. The next track, the 5th track, Atrocious by Nature. Just another awesome song from here with just a crushing opening riff with tremolo and sweet picking verses that you just cannot go wrong when it comes to technical death metal, but only when it's done right, and it is done right on this track. The grooves are more fast-paced on this track, so it'll kind of cause you to snap your neck because this track kind of forces you. You can't fight the urge. You can't. I've tried that. I almost put myself in the hospital because this track is so fucking headbanging. I thought all the blood from my neck rushing to my brain was gonna snap, and I had no blood, and I was gonna die. So that track gets a 4.5 out of 5. The next track, the title track, Descend Into Depravity, which is also slam-filled. And Sean Beasley and John Gallagher kind of do more growl harmonies, kind of switch off here and there, which kind of sets more of a evil atmosphere of hate that this album sets. And I can probably tell out of all the tracks on here, this one had the most thought put into it music-wise, and that's why I fucking love this track. This is a Dying Fetus hidden gem, Descend Into Depravity, the title track, and that motherfucker gets a 5 out of 5. Next track, the second to last track, is At What Expense. This is probably like the most simple track that's on this album. It kind of has like a more melodic break, in the song, with the very wicked lead solo by John Gallagher with some really groovy slams. 4.75 out of 5. Great track. And the last track, Ethos of how do you fucking say that? Coercion. Yeah, that's it. Ethos of Coercion. An excellent closer and a beast of a closing track for an album like this. Kind of leads you out with like a dark, empty and hated feeling that kind of relieves your stress after you listen to this album. And this song is chock full of wicked leads, and the guitar work and the riffs just add more of a dark atmosphere with the drumming and the bass work and everything. And this is a more simple and devastating track that I really enjoyed. It was a very good closing track. 4.5 out of 5. So my final opinion on this album is that, like I said before, this album was a major turning point in Dying Fetus's career. It shows how much they've matured, and this album just has the strongest Dying Fetus lineup I've ever heard. And they almost perfected the perfect formula for technicality and brutality. And it was just almost perfect. They almost fucking nailed it, and it was fucking awesome. And Trey definitely, for me, is the greatest drummer that ever went into a Dying Fetus. His drum work is just fucking out of this world on this album. And so is fucking Sean Beasley's bass work. His bass work is just so fucking frantic. It's just heavy and devastating. I fucking love it. And John Gallagher's guitar work. It's motherfucking John Gallagher, man. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're a fan of Dying Fetus, you'd understand. But if you are, even though the production was a bit more cleaner on this album, it did not get rid of any of the dark and hate-filled atmosphere that this album delivers. It was just this album was a good mixture of just slams, technicality, bursting gutturals, fucking wicked blast beats, everything your technical death metal heart desires. And this album just made some classics and gems in the modern death metal community that'll be reminisced and talked about in the near future. This was a major turning point for one of the most notorious bands in death metal, and that's why I give this album, Descend Into Depravity, their 6th studio album, a 90 out of 100. Go check that shit out if you haven't. That's it for part 6. Next time on the Dying Fetus Discography Review, we are going to review this album right here. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, stay brutal, keep it metal.